If the Lord were to appear this day in England, as once in Palestine, he would not come in the halo of the painters, or with that wintry shine of effeminate beauty, of sweet weakness, in which it is their helpless custom to represent him. Neither would he probably come as carpenter, or mason, or gardener. He would come in such form and condition as might bear to the present England, Scotland, and Ireland, a relation like that which the form and condition he then came in bore to the motley Judea, Samaria, and Galilee. If he came thus, in form altogether unlooked for, who would they be that recognized and received him? The idea involves no absurdity. He is not far from us at any moment, if the old story be indeed more than the best and strongest of the fables that possess the world. He might at any moment appear. Who, I ask, would be the first to receive him? Now, as then, it would of course be the childlike in heart, the truest, the least selfish. They would not be the highest in the estimation of any church, for the childlike are not yet the many. It might not even be those that knew most about the former visit of the Master, that had pondered every word of the Greek Testament. The first to cry, "It is the Lord," would be neither good churchman nor good dissenter. It would be no one with so little of the mind of Christ as to imagine him caring about stupid outside matters. It would not be the man that holds by the mooring ring of the letter fast in the quay of what he calls theology, and from his rotting deck abuses the presumption of those that go down to the sea in ships, lets the wind of the Spirit blow where it listeth, but never blows him out among its wonders in the deep. It would not be he who, obeying a command, does not care to see reason in the command. Not he who, from the barrenness of soul, cannot receive the meaning and will of the Master, and so fails to fulfill the letter of his word, making it of none effect. It would certainly, if any, be those who were likest the Master, those, namely, who did the will of their Father and his Father, that built their house on the rock by hearing and doing his sayings. But are there any enough like him to know him at once by the sound of his voice, by the look of his face? There are multitudes who would at once be taken by a false Christ fashioned after their fancy, and would at once reject the Lord as a poor impostor. One thing is certain: they who first recognized him would be those that most loved righteousness and hated iniquity. But I would not forget that there are many in whom foolish forms cover a live heart, warm toward everything human and divine. For the worst fitting and ugliest robe may hide the loveliest form. Every covering is not a clothing. The grass clothes the fields. The glory surpassing Solomon's clothes the grass. But the traditions of the worthiest elders will not clothe any soul. How much less the traditions of the unworthy? Its true clothing must grow out of the live soul itself. Some naked souls need but the sight of truth to rush to it, as Dante says, like a wild beast to his den. Others, heavily clad in the garments the scribes have left behind them, and fearful of rending that which is fit only to be trodden under foot, right cautiously approach the truth, go round and round it like a shy horse that fears a hidden enemy. But let each be true after the fashion possible to him, and he shall have the Master's praise. If the Lord were to appear, the many who take the common presentation of thing or person for the thing or person could never recognize the new vision as another form of the old. The Master has been so misrepresented by such as have claimed to present him, and especially in the one eternal fact of facts, the relation between him and his Father, that it is impossible they should see any likeness. For my part, I would believe in no God rather than in such a God as is generally offered for believing in. How far those may be to blame who, righteously disgusted, cast the idea from them, nor make inquiry whether something in it may not be true, though most must be false, neither grant it any claim to investigation on the chance that some that call themselves his prophets may have taken spiritual bribes to mingle beauty with infirmities, and pure perfection with impure defeature. How far those may be to blame, it is not my work to inquire. Some would grasp with gladness the hope that such chance might be proved a fact. Others would not care to discern upon the palimpsest, covered but not obliterated, a credible tale of a perfect man revealing a perfect God. They are not true enough to desire that to be fact which would immediately demand the modelling of their lives upon a perfect idea, and the founding of their every hope upon the same. But we all, beholding the glory of the Lord, are changed into the same image.